Hi everyone, so I wanted to start my channel off with some information I don't really see talked about that would have been extremely helpful for me when I was first figuring out my twin flame journey. And I want to go into how the different angel numbers or number synchronicities can apply more specifically to twin flames, because when you look up the angel numbers, I find that the information on how they can apply to twin flames is very lacking. So I'm going to make a playlist series on all the numbers that I've seen commonly and some other off numbers that aren't between the typical 111 to 1212. But I'm going to start this off with what 111 means. So first, I want to start off with just what the foundation of the number 1 means. So number 1 can mean new beginnings, manifestation, innovation, independence, leadership, and it represents all that is. So source energy, the divine, the universe, just everything of existence. Typically connecting you to the energy of the divine or the universe. And when you apply the numbers together, so 1111 or 111, 1111, the more you add these numbers up, they add more significance. And I'm going to make a separate video on 1111 because I find 11 and 1111 are different a little bit from 1 and 111. So the general meaning of 111 that kind of applies to everyone is that you are manifesting your thoughts and words. So you want to be careful with what you're speaking or thinking in that moment, because it can be a negative manifestation. And anytime you see an angel number, think about what you were thinking of in that moment when you saw it, or what was happening, what was troubling your mind. Because typically when you see a number synchronicity, it'll apply to your current thought or action. So when you see 111, it can mean generally a new beginning. You're going on a new path in life, new career, maybe new relationship, you're manifesting something. Or it can also be a message telling you to take action on what you were thinking. So if in that moment, let's say you're thinking, should I go for this new career or something like that, and you see 111, that's telling you to go for it. Take action on what you're contemplating or doubting to try out and start something new. Now, for twin flames, there's a bit more nuance to this. In my experience, when you see 111 as a twin flame or for twin flame relationships, in my experience, this means you're ascending into a new state of consciousness. You are leveling up basically into the next phase of your thought processes and patterns for a more enlightened and harmonious state of being. And what that can mean is, let's say you're looping in a negative pattern for a long time, negative thought process, and all of a sudden something clicks for you and you change your mindset in that moment. That's typically when I see 111. And it also represents moments of confidence and personal power when you're stepping into your personal power to become the creator of your reality. And a big example would be, the whole illusion of separation between twin flames. Finally, you get this moment that clicks where you go, hang on, we're not separated. The energies are within me. I control what's going on. I control my energy. I manifest the frequency. And that would be a 111 moment. And I included a visual of the Moon Tarot card here. Now, I like to read tarot. I'm a tarot reader in my personal time. And I think the tarot card archetypes can be really helpful with imagery and description, just to sort of explain things better, even if you're not a tarot reader. And so the Moon card represents illusion, fear, anxiety, insecurity, and the subconscious. So, typically, and especially on a twin flame journey, we're all in a state of illusion, fear, anxiety, insecurity. We're stuck in our subconscious, the matrix, things that, we just don't understand in the beginning. And this moon card even represents that in the imagery, because as you could see, nothing in the symbolism seems to make any sense. It just leaves you confused. Why is there a wolf versus a dog? And why is there a lobster coming out of the water, So that's kind of just the energy people start off in here. But, as we progress, we gather more information and we ascend energetically and spiritually, and you become like the Magician card, which is quite literally like 111, because the Magician is the number 1 card in the deck. It's the first card. You can see the number 1 at the top. And as you can see here, the Magician is creating something. He represents alchemy, willpower, manifestation, talent, passion and drive. He has a set of tools on the table to create something. He's raising his hand to the heavens to call on divine energy. He has the infinity symbol above his head because he is limitless. And when you step into this with 111 energy, you realize you are limitless. You are the creator of your reality. You can transcend the illusions, the fears, the subconscious. You can rise above that and realize everything that's going on, and you can choose not to participate in your subconscious ego and mindset, and you can create your reality. You can manifest your reality. And even in the image on the right, you could see he's holding the staff with the 2 snakes that are similar to Ida and Pingala, which is a Hinduism concept, but it's very relevant to the twin flames because it's the masculine and the feminine energy uniting into one. You don't need to be religious, but it's just a very good representation of what's going on here. And you can see the sun and the moon at the top corners as well. The sun representing the masculine and the moon the feminine, yin and yang. That's another masculine feminine concept. So with 111, you are ascending and you are combining the two, and here a spiral represents kind of collapsing that duality. You are becoming one. There is no separation, you are just a source of limitless potential energy that's infinitely going and going. Like the spiral, it has no beginning and no end. It's just infinite potential, infinite energy. So when you see 111, know that you are ascending into a higher state of consciousness. You're sort of rising above some of your preconditioned patterns, looping, duality, negativity. You are having something click for you in your head. You're rising up. You're going up the stairs, up the spiral. And also 111 can also mean to take action. So if you're repeatedly seeing an angel number, I just want to point out, typically when you see an angel number maybe once, it usually is just a sign like, hey, this is what you're doing, good job. Or, hey, this is happening for you. But when you're repeatedly seeing the same number, especially back to back, constantly, in a short succession, you're getting a message to do something with that energy. So it might not be that you have fully risen above. It could be telling you, hey, you need to rise above. You need to realize this thing. You need to ascend. So when you see 111 repeatedly, it could also be telling you to take action on something, whether that's a thought or mindset. Or, for example, I see 111 a lot as well when I'm coming into my purpose, when I'm having a thought of, what if I tried this out for a career? What if I did this? Or such as this YouTube channel. every time I thought, hey, what if I shared some of my knowledge on YouTube to help people out, I kept seeing 111. So that was a sign for me to come on here and do this for you guys. So I hope this video was helpful explaining the meaning behind 111, especially when it applies to twin flames, because I know when you look up angel numbers, I feel like a lot of it is just very vague. Hey, the angels are with you, congrats. You know, it doesn't really explain the meaning behind, or the specific meaning, in my opinion. So I wanted to add some more nuance based on my personal experience, and keep in mind the numbers can vary a little bit based on you and your energies. So just, again, keep in mind what you were thinking or going through in the moment that you were seeing this number. So with that being said, I hope this video was helpful. I will be adding more number videos to this series, and I will also be creating videos about spiritual concepts in general, such as twin flames, the Kundalini process, things I've gone through personally that I have experience and knowledge on. And if anyone would like to comment any video suggestions or questions they have that maybe they want a video answer to, please do so, and I would be happy to try to answer that with a video. And I hope you all have a good day.